Welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mac here on 1010XL's podcast platform, 1010XL.com. 1010 app, of course. We're live on Facebook, and we put it all over the internet, including YouTube. Oh, gosh. Wherever you watch and listen to podcasts, a lot of great content right out of the 1010XL podcast studios, which I am in. Of course, my show brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. Please go to TommyMac.net, check all their logos out, click on the logo, go right to their websites. They are absolutely fantastic. I will run through them and introduce them once again a little bit later on in the show. Lots to get into today, of course, with their Jaguars traveling out to Vegas, taking on the 2-12 losers of 10 in a row Raiders. Oh, my gosh, say it ain't so. But, yeah, that game is going to happen. 4:25 Eastern Standard Time kickoff. I wonder if the league wanted to flex it just right out of the schedule. Like, you know what, guys? We'll call it a tie. Nobody wants to watch you anyway, other than maybe your fans. Good morning, Grammage.
Good morning, sir.
Or afternoon. How are you?
Happy Friday. Weather's phenomenal.
It is phenomenal. No doubt.
Maybe not with the Jaguar matchup, but we got a great weekend of football ahead.
Weekend of
college football playoff. A great NFL game, some Saturday NFL games.
Yes, big NFL games.
This time of year for sports is all. Basketball is back, dude. I love this time of year for sports, but I love how you just said, yeah, this game is gonna happen.
Unfortunately, we're gonna have to watch it.
Out of all the games for this weekend's NFL slate, it's one of them. Yeah, it's one of the games.
That's right. I tell you what, man, it's just a sad state of affairs. You know, the Jaguars today. I'll ask you this, Grammage. Jaguars today asked their audience, what would you prefer, winning or losing out and having a better draft?
I heard you guys talking about it. I agree with you, man. This team needs to win. They need to win ball games. Look, it was different when Trevor Lawrence was available and the Jets were hot on their tail to get the number 1 overall pick, and that was a franchise-changing draft pick, right? I believe that was a different set of circumstances. With this year, they're not going to get the number 1 pick. The Raiders and the Giants are going to be picking 1 and 2. At best, they're going to be picking probably 3 or 4. At worst, probably 6 or 7, depending on how they win. Yep. To me, man, it's far more important that in these last couple of games, it's already been happening last few weeks, that Brian Thomas Jr. balls out, and that Tank Bigsby balls out, and that some of these young guys, Mason Smith balls out, Brenton Strange balls out. Like, these young guys that you're looking forward to for next season, that you expect to be back, you expect to count on a team that you are going to expect to win games next year, new coach, however it works. That core group of young dudes, obviously you're not going to see Trevor, but everybody else, the core group of young dudes that are playing, it's the most important thing is that they ball out, and hopefully it helps them win. Brian Thomas Jr. deserves to taste a little bit of winning.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
Doubt. Well, I'll say, look, and the decision to let them go, if that is the decision, should have been made already, in my opinion.
I agree too.
Because what I want to see now, if I'm the owner, I want to see who's fighting to the end on my roster. I want to see who is going to give it their all for the next 3 games and act like it's the end of the world for this. This is it. This is my last game. I got to play like that. Because I want to know for next year who my guys are. I don't want to know guys that put it in neutral. I don't want them on my team. You know, your job, I'm still paying you. You're a professional football player. You have a game to play. I don't care what our record is. I don't care. You're to play. So I expect you to play hard. I expect you to play as good as you can. And I want to see who the dogs are for next year. Look, there's going to be a ton of turnover between this year and next year. There's got to be. You have to upgrade a lot. You have some good core stuff. Don't get me wrong. We have plenty of core players that we can build around and work with. But you're going to see 50% of these guys out of here.
And the raw accountability aspect of a disaster
that's part
season.
Of the coach, and that's another,
But I mean, even above that, I'm saying with a new GM, even if they keep the GM, that's obviously a question. Regardless, either way, like the accountability aspect of you cannot allow guys that allow this poor of a season to just all stick around and we redo this whole thing.
No.
Right?
No.
The in-season accountability is on the coaching staff. We've talked about that 100 times.
Absolutely. And wait, let me add, and I don't mean to cut you off. It is on the coaching staff, but it's also on the GM to have the type of player that is willing to not make those mistakes. Or if they do, they own up to it and they fixed it and correct it right away, and it doesn't happen again.
Right.
But we don't have those players, clearly, or they wouldn't still be doing the same stuff over and over and over again.
And to that end, I would say to bring that back into this franchise, the work starts the minute that this season ends, right? Whoever, whether it is the current GM or they get somebody new, their job is going to be to make sure that changes.
Yeah.
Their job needs to be the guys that they get out of here need to be guys that underperformed, obviously.
Yep.
You got to play. But also guys where losing these games doesn't seem to bother them, right? Like, you watch Brian Thomas Jr. play, and he plays his heart out every single week.
Sure does.
You can tell he's pissed if they don't end up winning the game.
Yep. He's pissed when they don't give him the ball.
Correct.
Yep.
As you should be.
Agreed.
They need a lot more of the locker room to be that way. And you've always talked about holding the players. The players need to be that. I totally agree that next year, personnel-wise, the new dudes you are going to bring in need to be guys that are like, we ain't effing losing.
No. And listen, and I don't want to get on this horse, like the box of practice, but I can remember in practice, I can remember my first year with the Jags in 95, and we're in practice, I was full pads, and we're just thudding, so it's not a full scrimmage or anything like that. And Kelvin Pritchett, our stud defensive tackle, there was one play, I was in the wrong gap. That guy turned around and said, "You're supposed to be right here, and you're not here." What, swearing and all. And I was like, yeah, well, I was always that kind of player, and I wasn't in the right gap at the time. And he just called me out. And that was normal. That kind of stuff was normal to happen. I don't know if that happens today. Like, let me ask you this. And I know I've been harping on him a lot, but I think it's a microcosm of what's gone on this whole year. If you're Trayvon Walker or Josh Hines Allen, don't you go privately maybe to Eric and say, "Yo, Eric, you're way better inside, man. You're way better. We're together. We're way better. As a defensive front, we are," and you, by the way, if I'm Josh Hines Allen, because they seem to line up next to each other all the time, with us too, we are so down. Like, we got a chance to be really, really good if you would play tackle. Why aren't you playing like come on, like, where's that? Where's that team first? I don't care how you dress 100%. Before a game. I can give two craps what kind of shoes you're wearing and who made your outfit. You know what I mean? I mean, come on, we're talking about not making the same mistakes over and over, and that's what they do. Look, I've said this for 2 years. It's not the talent. Talent does need to be upgraded in certain positions, there's no doubt. But collectively, they've had enough talent to win the last 2 years, in my opinion. It's been attitude problems from the coaching staff, in the locker room, with the GM, and none of it freaking meshes. That's why we are at today, in my opinion. And again, you go back to the teams that do it right. What do they say? And I won't even use Detroit. Go to Pittsburgh. Go to Mike Tomlin. There's what? A standard. He says it all the time. We have a standard here, and you either fit the standard or you're out. So, and they win, right? You don't think that, now they may not say it's a standard. You don't think Andy Reid's got a standard?
Of course he does.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You don't think
100%.
these other organizations that win all the time have a standard? They do. We don't have a standard. I think we have a couple guys, like you said, Brian Thomas Jr., he's got a standard. He wants it. You can tell. And I'm not saying he's the only one. There's plenty of others. But there's not enough collective that are willing to do whatever it takes to win. And I can say that confidently. You know why? Because if you were doing whatever it takes, you wouldn't be making the same mistakes over and over.
Yep.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't be out of position. You wouldn't be out of coverage. You wouldn't run the wrong routes. You'd know who to block every single time. You know all these things, but you don't. So to me, there's that whole screwed up part of the organization right now.
There's too much. The feeling I get is there's too much little bro in each other or brother-in-law in each other, whatever you want to call it, with this locker room. There's too much, hey, sorry, man. Get him next time.
Yeah.
Doug's
like that, though.
He is.
Doug's like that.
And if you're going to be like that as a coach, then you need to have coordinators that are hard asses.
Fair.
Or
Yep.
Yep. You need, to your point that you say all the time, as the GM, you got to know what your coaching staff is like. And if you evaluate guys in the draft or in free agency that you might like their tape, but you do enough scouting on them, talking to their former coaches and what have you, that they're not going to be self-starting type of guys, then you can't have them in.
Listen.
Because one way or another, there's got to be that accountability factor that we talk about all the time.
All right, look, think of the matchup. Think and take after the 90s when Tom was still the GM to 2002. Stroud, Henderson, right? Great. What kind of guys are they? Same kind of guys that he was drafted with Baselli.
Yep.
Same kind of guys that he drafted with Hardy. Same guy all the way through. It was all that same kind of player. You know when he made the one mistake in the first round?
R.J. Sauer.
Yeah, I remember him saying this. He's never played for a coach like me. And he was a phenomenal talent, that kid. Phenomenal. But he had issues. And Tom thought he could change him. And you can't change people. And he got off his course a little bit, thinking that, no, I can fix this kid. You can't fix everybody, right? It just wasn't a fit. That wasn't the kind of guy that is going to do whatever it takes to win, because that's what was demanded by the head coach. See how that all fits?
Yeah.
So you're right. If you're going to have a coach that's more like, hey, we'll get him next time, well, then you better have tough coordinators with tough position coaches with tough players, mentally and emotionally, that they can handle the critique. And we don't have that kind of stuff.
There's always got to be, in my opinion, there's always got to be, and I was never in a locker room in a college or NFL level, but just I feel like any locker room, there has to be someone for everybody on the team, players.
Yep.
There has to be someone that when they screw up, they're legitimately embarrassed to go in front of and have to face the music on it.
Yeah.
You hear what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
like if
you should be embarrassed.
Like you played linebacker, right?
Yeah.
For you guys, it's got to be, if your linebacker coach is a little more, hey, it's all right, like let's figure it out, let's talk. If he's that, then the DC needs to be a hard ass.
Yep.
Or the head, someone along the line has to be someone that you're like,
Listen, your position coach touches you the most.
Yeah, and you spend the most time with him.
He's got to be accountable. He's got to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they ran the bad plays back a lot. They would, and they were coming. You're like, ugh. And then he's like rewinding, like, what are you doing here? Don't give me what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I want to fight you right now because you're calling me out in front of my peers. But guess what? It made me not want to do that.
Yeah.
Not screw up. And by the way, we got graded hard in practice, not just games. It's just they're going to just have to figure that out. But I do, look, back to that question, I want to see them play hard. I'd rather have them win than not. But if they lose a close one, even to as long as they're trying, they don't give up, they don't lay down, and they haven't done that, then I'm okay. I'm okay. I want them to win no matter what. And by the way, if I'm a player on this team, I am playing for my football life, because some of you might not even be in the league next year. That's the reality of it. That's the reality. So anyway, we'll look at this game. Like I said, Raiders losers of 10 in a row. We're not much better. I will say, first of all, I was going to make a joke, but I won't. I'll make it after I commend Brian Thomas Jr. for just the year he's had, because that was a real positive, breaking records, all that stuff. So congratulations to that.
It's the number one positive out of this year, by not even close.
No doubt. He plays the game the right way. They need the ball in his hands a lot more, and hopefully we can see that. I was going to say, the news of the week was sad because it was Ledbetter doing a backflip. That was like the highlight of the week. And I'm okay with him celebrating. I mean, look, it wasn't a great sack. It was a great effort. He was double teamed, and then Rodgers rolled out, and he ran to him and got him, and it was a good athletic play. And then look, he wanted to sell it. That's fine. I mean, I don't know. There's not much to celebrate at 3-11, or 3-10. And he had this whole, like, you could tell I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And it was impressive.
He kind of set everyone up to look at him.
Yeah, like, hey, here it comes, But, whatever. But I guess when you're, 3-11, 3-10, none of that looks good to me. Just get the sack and go back.
It's almost like when you're down multiple scores in a game and score a touchdown. Like, don't celebrate the touchdown. It's like that.
You can always celebrate internally. There's nothing wrong with, like, coming out of a game and being like, hey, even if we lost, I know I played well.
Yeah.
Because if you play. Look, when we won and I didn't play well, it didn't feel like I played well, I didn't feel that great.
Yeah.
I'm happy we won. Team's winning, that's great. But I know I'm going to catch hell on Monday, and I didn't play that great.
Yeah.
And I better fix it quick, or they're going to start thinking about replacing me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hopefully they can get a bunch of guys all on the right page. Happy birthday to Trayvon Walker, 24 years. What a stud. Are you kidding me? You know, let me ask, and I know what the answer is. I do. But I feel like, Aiden Hutchinson is a really good player, and he was on fire this year. And by the way, I went to look and see how their defensive tackles do in the sack game. They don't do that much. I thought maybe he had a better presence inside. Helps. Now, he's a more natural pass rusher coming out of college as opposed to Trayvon Walker. But I think the gap is closed pretty good as far as, would you absolutely take Aiden Hutchinson over Trayvon Walker at the number 1 pick overall?
No.
I don't think so either. I get people that would say, man, you're crazy. The guy's, and he is. He is a more natural pass rushing defensive end. But I think Trayvon has developed into a more all-around, getting better at rushing the passer, and he's always been good against the run. I don't know how Aiden Hutchinson is against the run. I know he's a really good pass rusher. I don't know if he's stout against the defense, but I know he's very active, and I know he's a great player. I'm not saying that. But I was thinking about that today. Like, if the draft were today, would you still take Trayvon Walker, or would you go Aiden Hutchinson? I think maybe a year ago you'd say Aiden Hutchinson. I think as you see him develop and play. Look, Trayvon Walker wants it just like Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah.
He plays the game that way. I think Josh Hines-Allen does that too.
Plays every snap like he's never going to have a snap again.
Yeah, or it's a one-on-one fight, I want to beat your ass, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you up kind of thing.
The interesting part about Trayvon, I don't know if you heard during Jags happy hour yesterday, Jeff Lageman was talking about how, looking at Trayvon this past week, he thought he pass rushed really well.
Yeah.
And not in moves. Different moves, good bend.
Yeah.
Not just
bull rush.
Not just tough SOB, just overpowering, which was a lot of his first year.
Remember last year we were talking about that dip. Remember he started dipping around that tackle, and when you get that dip going, you got a chance to bend that corner and get to the QB.
And here's the thing, man. We always knew that he just needed to learn what he was doing pass rushing wise.
Yeah.
But the flexibility and the athletic ability to be a finesse edge has always been there.
Right.
I mean, you saw it when he picked up that fumble against the Eagles.
Yeah.
That run, he was light on his feet like he's a third down back.
Yeah,
it was unbelievable. He's making dudes miss. He's reading his blocks. It was crazy. And he played some running back in high school. So, but the feet, the ability, the quickness, the speed, that's all there.
Yep.
And now that the muscle memory is getting there, a little bit of different moves with your hands. And
think about it. He didn't play outside rush linebacker as in Georgia.
Never. He's learning it like it's like he's
on the gun. But I think he's really narrowed that gap. Aiden Hutchinson's a great player, but I tell you what, I don't know if I would.
It's definitely not. It's definitely no longer. Man, the Jags are such idiots. They took this guy instead of. It's definitely not that anymore. Yep. You could still say Hutch, and it wouldn't be dumb to say that.
No, but by the stats alone, you could say Hutch. You could be like, well, look at his stats.
But. It's definitely to the point now where if someone's like, "Man, the Jags are so stupid," then you're not watching the Jags. You don't know what you're talking about.
Definitely don't know what you're talking about. Happy birthday to that young man, and hopefully he has a big game out in Vegas. I was asked about what were road trips like. I never went on a 2-day road trip, so I never had a Friday night in another town while I was getting ready to play for the the weekend. Night before, we always had to be in by 8:00. I told a story about missing a team meeting with 3 other guys, but that wasn't like late at night. You know what I mean? You weren't hung over, nothing like that the next day. If they go, I don't know if they're going out today or tomorrow, but I think the idea. This is what I would if I was the owner, which I'm not. I'd go to the coach and GM and say, listen, this is what I want to do this week. We'll go Saturday, but if they win, we'll stay Sunday night and they can do whatever they want. And we'll fly home in the afternoon. We don't have to make it too early. Get you home by mid-afternoon, and you're off Tuesday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Give them a little incentive to win. And I know you fans out there don't want that. I don't know. Again, one draft pick's not going to do it for me. And you could look, no disrespect to any of them, but I mean, Trevor was the number 1 overall pick. He's okay. He hasn't helped us. Not all his fault. I'm not saying that, but it's not like he's lit up the world.
Yeah.
Right. And then Brian Thomas Jr.
It's not like he's got an MVP and 3 playoff wins.
He's been okay.
Yeah,
he's been okay. I'm not saying that he's bad. He's just been okay. To the number 1 pick in the draft, he hasn't lived up to that at all, but he's been okay. And then you look at Brian Thomas Jr., who was selected, 21st, 19th, 18th, 20th, somewhere around there?
Somewhere around there. We traded back.
You traded back?
So I'm forgetting the exact
And look
spot.
at him. If you redrafted today, he'd probably be a top 6, 7 pick, maybe 5. I mean, he's that good. So you don't know, and between now and the draft, things are going to change. Who are maybe not the top 3 or 4, but after that always seems to. Remember, even last year, Joe Alt. Well, guess what? Joe Alt wasn't the first tackle taken off the board. Remember who Tennessee grabbed someone else that was ahead of him? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. I'm trying to remember the.
But Joe Alt, obviously a good player, was highly regarded coming out of college, Notre Dame. And, he didn't end up being the first tackle. Why? Because during the process, someone moved ahead of him, which happens. So I don't get too concerned about that. Again, I just want him to go out there with a lot of fire and fight to the end. And then we'll just, and if I was on that team, that's what I'd be doing because, again, you're going to have a tough time making this team next year if you don't, or even be here going into the off season. All right, we will go over the team stats review. They're not good. Neither team's very good. How about this, Grammage? I'll give you a quick little tease on the team stats review. Turnover margin. Jags are at -13. Take a gander at what the Raiders are at.
They're the worst in the league. I heard. I know it's bad. But the Jags are one of the worst teams as well.
Yeah, they're bottom 2 or 3.
Raiders -16,
19. How do you win? How do you win with a -19 turnover? How do you win with a -13 turnover ratio if you're the Jags? How do you win? That's so hard.
So I saw because they were. I think it was Jags Happy Hour again. I was here and they had it on, so I was listening to some of what they were saying, and I believe they were saying with the Jags, the Jags don't turn, and this is true when you watch. They typically don't turn the ball over a ton during games, but they never get turnovers.
No,
ever.
No.
The Raiders
a year ago they did.
The Raiders do both. They never get turnovers and they turn over a lot.
Yeah,
their quarterbacks throw a lot of picks.
Yep.
Strip sacks, that type of thing. The Jags, offensively, it's obviously had a lot of issues, but it's been relatively clean from a turnover perspective.
Listen, as far as protection, here's something for you. The Raiders have given up 47 sacks this season. 47 divided by 24. Man, that's it. What's that? By 14. What are they? 2-12 by 14. That's almost 3 a game.
In fairness,
that's over 3 a game.
In fairness, we watched Gardner Minshew when he was here.
Oh yeah, it's not all the line's fault, but that is the story.
He always hangs on to the ball too long. That is a huge problem.
So does Trevor.
Not as bad as Gardner.
No.
Gardner's bad.
Gardner is bad.
He hangs on to it forever.
Well, I'm giving props to the O-line because we have 27.
Right.
27. That's really good, man. They're I know that people are complaining about the run game. We're still averaging 4.4 yards a carry. We need more of Bigsby, I think. But yeah, how about that, man? 27 sacks given up for our O-line. And it's funny. We thought there was going to be a problem. We were so concerned about the O-line. You know what? The O-line hasn't been the problem. D-line's been a little bit of the problem, which brings me into my next topic here. Josh Hines-Allen, 7 sacks, 8 tackles for loss. Underperforming?
Yeah.
Are we back to has a good game, doesn't show up, has a good game? Now, I think he shows up because the energy's there. I'm not saying that, but there are games you don't hear his name, and then there are games you're like, man, he's all over the place.
Barely heard him at all on Sunday. At the game, it was like third quarter. I looked at my dad. It was the game with him. I'm like, where's Josh Allen? Where's he at?
Trayvon, you heard a lot.
And
He was making
Trayvon,
some plays.
especially stopping the run.
Yep.
Every run to Trayvon's side got just blown up for like -3.
Yep.
I mean, he was a man among boys, but Josh, man, it's like, look, that's the type of game. Because on third downs, the Jets kept killing us on third, and it's like
last year, 17.5. You got the big contract. We weren't expecting 17.5, but you got to have more than what you have. Come on. That's the name of the game now, right? If you're a defensive end getting paid big money, well, you got to keep up with the rest of the big money defensive ends that are getting paid, that are getting sacks. Because we compared you to who? He's as good as who? He's as good as who? He's as good as who? Right? We had Watt ahead of him, right? We had
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett ahead of him. I know the guy from the Bears got Sweat. We had Josh ahead of him. You know, he's kind of just that second tier, but
we had him in like the Max Crosby tier.
Yeah.
Of edge rushers in the league.
Yeah, which is a very good player. Don't get me wrong. I love Max Crosby as a player. Won't be playing this week, of course, but I don't know. And then Trayvon, look, I think Trayvon's done a nice job. He got 8.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss, but need more out of both of them. That's one of the keys this week. Like, guys, come on. It's the Raiders. They're terrible. They give up 47 sacks. You tell me you're not going to hunt this week? Right? And, Eric, you don't get inside. Just stay inside for crying out loud.
Well, and Tommy, something that a big stat you always harp on, as you should, is third down.
Yep.
Third and short is a little different, but 3rd and 5+.
Yep.
I'm looking at you two. I'm looking at Josh. I'm looking at Trayvon.
Right.
This is where you guys make your money, man.
Yep.
This is where you make your money.
Totally.
Remember that play against the Jets where Aaron Rodgers has a clean pocket? Not clean. He's looking. He's not being, and then he just runs.
Yep.
And we were playing man, and everybody's on the field, so he runs and he gets 20 yards.
Yep.
And I remember, again, watching the game with my dad. He's like, how is there no one there? I'm like, well, because they're playing man.
Right.
It's up to the DNs to get there and get them some pressure.
Exactly. And not just go up the field and create a lane that the QB can just sneak out.
And it's like,
off.
I don't care that Aaron Rodgers is slow and has the blown Achilles now because he's older. Dude.
He ran fast enough.
You and I in a clean pocket against man like that would run for 10 yards.
Yeah.
Everybody's 50 yards up the field. What do you expect?
Exactly.
It's Trayvon and Josh that have to get there and make a difference.
Yep.
He can't have a clean pocket and obvious passing downs. They got to get 10, 15 yards up the field.
Yep.
Come on, man.
What did they combine for last year? 27?
That sounds about right.
Because
Josh had 17.5 and 10-ish sounds right for Trayvon.
Yeah, so they're way behind. They better get
way
going.
behind.
They're only at 15.5 with 3 games to go. So hopefully they can get that done. Aiden O'Connell will get the start. He's had 6 starts. He's not going to kill you. Brock Bowers is probably going to kill us because we don't cover the tight end. He's having a monster year. Not a lot per yards per catch, but 90 catches and 4 touchdowns. So, he's doing something.
Remember what Tucker Kraft did to us?
Yeah.
From Green Bay?
Every tight end seems to beat
This kid's better.
Yeah, oh yeah, he's a stud now.
He's better than Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, he's a bigger and faster type. He's like a wide receiver.
Man, there's not any more than 2 or 3 tight ends in all of football better than this guy.
I agree.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Georgia right now with their quarterback. Look at how much he misses.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers.
Yeah, no doubt.
Every third down, you send some pressure. Okay, I'll just give it to my tight end that nobody can guard.
Kittle, Laporta, I would imagine, is up there from Detroit.
And he's probably 4th. And even Laporta, I think that there's a conversation there.
Well, he's got 90
time.
catches with the quarterbacks he's had compared to Goff.
I know.
I mean, Goff's a stud compared to what.
And that line too that can't protect anyone. Like, I mean, if you're a quarterback-proof tight end, that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be a quarterback-proof receiver, which is also hard. But it's one thing to be a quarterback-proof receiver that's going out deep every play. But a guy that's got to block a decent amount too, and you're still getting That's unbelievable.
Although the tight ends throws are typically down in the middle of the field, they're easier throws than the outside throws. So they should give you some comfort. If I'm Aiden O'Connell, I'm looking for Bowers pretty much every throw out there. He's a beast. Alexander Madison, one of the running backs. Amir Abdul, another one. They're 3.6 yards a carry overall, so they're not. You should shut down the run. They give up 4.5 yards a carry of roughly. We should get our run game going. Atlanta shut him down last week. Max Crosby's not playing. Christian Wilkins hasn't played all year. Remember, that was a big signing. That didn't happen because he got hurt. They're just, they're not a very good football team. So I would expect us to win this game. And I know a lot of you people don't want them to win, but I do. I'd rather have them win than not. And I don't think the last 3 games should have any bearing on what Shad Khan does to this franchise. The GM, the decision should be made already, in my opinion. And by the way, did you guys see Doug's quote or hear Doug's quote from yesterday? I think it was yesterday. He's talking like he's coming back. I mean, he's talking like he's now. Granted, that's maybe what he has to do. Like it's just a smart, talk like you're coming back. If you don't, then you don't. But let's not talk like you're leaving. Because he's going to be looking for his next job.
Remember when Doug Marrone kept talking like he was coming back?
Yeah. That was not good. That was not. Hey, listen, it's a production business, and we'll just see what happens. But hopefully, change has got to be made. It's got to be made. You can't keep doing the things you're doing on that football field and allowing it to happen without changing the mentality of your players and the way the coaches coach. So you got to figure that out. Nothing a lot to worry about. Jacoby Myers, I'm not sure he's playing this week. He's only got a couple touchdowns. They're just not good. I mean, they're not a very good team. We'll go into the team stats so you can take a look at that. Before I do, please check out Riding Shotgun, latest edition I filmed the other night with Bobby Amaru, the lead singer of Saliva. Great band. Holy cow. Go watch or go listen to their Revelation album. So I knew Saliva. I knew who Bobby was, but I had to do my homework and research, and he's the second singer of Saliva. The original left in 2011. And they've had some good albums, really good. So I'm like, I'm going to check them out. I listened to they got a brand new single out called Time Bomb, and it's a football song. I mean, you want to go out, you want to run through a wall after listening to that. But then I listened start to finish, Revelation. They had some really good tunes, man. Horizon, Toxic, I Belong, so I got on my playlist now. I'm a humongous fan now. And this guy, Bobby, like, just soft-spoken, humble. And I'm looking at him the whole time like, you belt all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like amazing. He's like, I have to talk soft because I can't scream if I talk loud all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, interesting. So check them out. They've got a show coming up in Jacksonville in March, and yes, I will be attending. I can't wait for that. The show brought to you by Team Tommy Mac. Why? Because they're the best at what they do, and they're always there for you when you need them. I posted on Facebook this morning, shared a clip from Chris Lucero's bail bonds. Number 1 name in the bail game. Look, I don't want you ever have to call the number. Ever. You or a family family friend, whatever. I don't want any of you to have to call it. But mistakes do happen. Things do happen. 904-822-2245. Please put it into your phone just in case, because he'll be there when you need him, and him and his team will get you out of the clink in a blink. J-Dog junk removal and hauling. You seen the J-Dog truck out on A1A. It looks absolutely beautiful, doesn't it? It does, because it is. It's a beautiful Suburban, all decked out in J-Dog junk removal and hauling logos and gear and opportunities for you. If you want to get involved, make sure you check them out. J-Dog. Get J844. Get J-Dog is the number. 844-GET-J-DOG, D-O-G. Carpet Man Flooring, home of LVP. Carpet Man's LVP. Carpet Man's tile. Carpet Man's hardwood. Carpet Man's carpet. The highest quality at the lowest prices. 2 great locations for you in Orange Park and on St. John's Bluff by Craig Airfield. You can check them out at carpetman.biz, B-I-Z. Fields Cadillac, they are my title sponsor for Riding Shotgun. Yeah, we had beautiful, Graham. It's 2025 Escalade Sport fully decked out. It was absolutely incredible. Got a little 6.2 V8 engine in there. Yeah, I tested it with Bobby in the car. It's absolutely great. I got this strip at the end right in front of the dealership. It's a long strip, and it's dark, so nobody's out there anymore. People are pretty much off work, and I like to hit it on that stretch.
That's cool.
And see how it goes. Azar Sausage, they are the #1 sausage in the game. You get them at Winn-Dixie, your favorite local grocers. We have it all the time, whether in your favorite dish or in a bun. Azar Sausage is the one. Newmark Phoenix Realty Group, the #1 commercial real estate firm right here in Jacksonville. Really good friends of mine and have been for a very long time. I started working for them a couple years right out of football. Only lasted a couple years. I didn't like landlords yelling at me and wanting some kind of report each and every week, so I walked away from that, but didn't walk away from Phoenix Realty because they are good friends of mine, and they do it all from commercial to industrial, office, retail, investments, and development. Give them a call at 904-399-5222. Code Ninja is a great after-school program for your kids to learn all about coding, learn about AI, learn about security. They're working with Roblox, Minecraft, all types of things, building games, and they do it through a ninja, like a belt system. So you start as a white belt, and you go all the way to your black belt. When you get to your black belt, you get to develop your own video game. How about that? And they get it out there for you as well. Salt Air Inn and Suites, an awesome boutique hotel, 4 blocks from the ocean, 2 blocks from all the action. Listen, if you're in town, like, I don't know, West Side's the best side or wherever, and you want to have a night out at the beach and have a good time, very festive this time of year. The lights are on, the trees lit up, people are everywhere, great food, great restaurants. Go stay at Salt Air Inn and Suites. They've got the concierge service for you, anything you need on the beach and beyond. Make sure you check them out when you're thinking about staying out at the beach. Family Traditions Specialty Foods. Make sure you check out that website, familytraditionsspecialtyfoods.com. In the discount bar, put pound Team Tommy Mac, and you get a 4-pack, you get BOGO. 2-pack, BOGO free. Fantastic stuff. They got great hot sauces. Coconut Joe's is on our table and should be on yours as well. Freedom Finance, that's my man Courtney Myers. You need any financial help out there in the business world? You're a startup, you're an early stage, you need accounting, bookkeeping, forecasting, raising funds, whatever it may be. Courtney Myers is your guy. He will work for you as a fractional CFO and do all those things that I've listed. Check him out at freedomfinance.llc. And last but not least, of course, Michael Nickus' State Farm Agency, been my agent for over 20-plus years and does everything from auto, home, life, and supplemental health. Takes care of it all. Him and his team always available for you 24/7. They are absolutely fantastic. 904-777-6888. For Michael Nickus' State Farm Agency, of course, want to thank 1010XL for allowing me to have this show. And, of course, a big thanks to Grammage. Grammage, I got to get you something for Christmas. You want to meet out at the bar tonight to get a shot? What do you think? Couple shots?
We'll figure something out.
Right. We'll have to get festive. We got some festive.
We'll figure out a way to consume some adult beverages.
There you go, man.
That's not something that's difficult for you or me to do.
Listen, Friday nights at Monkey's Uncle, they usually have a kick-ass band.
Yeah.
We got to get there one day. We got to Ragtime in February. We're going to Ragtime February. Dad Bods are. We'll be at Cole Haynes in January, and then we got to get in there at Monkey's Uncle.
My parents' favorite place in Atlantic Beach, Ragtime.
Yeah, Ragtime's great.
Dude.
They have great food there. Underrated.
Great
It's always great.
Some of the most underrated food in the whole city, in my opinion.
100%. And I love being there. It's always
because you think of it as like place with good music and like a hangout, like bar type of place. But man, you sit down and get some dinner, man.
Oh, it's great food. Great food. I like the different
The
bars.
red beans and rice there.
Oh, it's some of the best. With the sausage in that. Oh,
big time.
Unreal.
Big
no
time.
doubt. Good call. All right, let's do this team stats review. Points. We'll do offensive, defense, Raiders and Jags. We'll start with the Jags. Jags on offense averaging 18.8. The Raiders average 17.5. They're even worse. And both defenses average just under 27 points a game giving up. These teams are terrible. They are collectively, these teams are just terrible. They're not very good football teams whatsoever. All right, yards per carry, we're at 4.4. They give up 4.4. We got get that run game going a little bit more, please. And Tank, hold on to the ball. I didn't like that fumble again, man. Thank goodness your guy recovered. Morse recovered it for hustling, but that was bad. That was really bad. You got to make sure you hold on to that football. They only rush for 3.6 yards a carry, and we give up 4.4. Listen, can we stop the run and run the football? Too much to ask against a 2-12 team.
It's
I don't
almost
think
like
it's too much to ask at all.
It's almost like that helps you win football games.
You think? No, it's all passing. No, you got to stop the run. You know what? It's funny. We say this all the time. You got to stop the run when you got to stop the run. You got to run the football when it's time to run the football. Running the clock, 4 minute. Like, you got to get some runs going. You got to get some first downs. And running game's a part of it. And then when you got to stop somebody, man, you got to stop the run. You know?
And it's always important at the beginning of a game, too. Like, the first couple drives, man, like, how many times this year we talk about all the time, why does the team start slow? Why do they start slow? You know why they start slow? Because their first handoff of every game gets blown up for -2.
Yep.
Freaking every time.
Well, and on defense, our opening drives have been long drives against us.
Yes.
We can't stop anything.
Yes. How do you expect, like, this past week, they lost the game, of course, but offensively, they were much better last week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Number one reason, in my opinion, was Brian Thomas Jr.
Of course.
Number two reason is they ran the ball effectively.
That's right.
When they ran the ball, even the not successful runs were at least like gain of 2, gain of 3.
And keep them honest kind of deal.
Not just get blown up for net.
No, right.
That happened all year last year, and we'd be like, man, why can't they?
Yep.
It's not rocket science, people. You run the ball effectively, you stay ahead of the chains, you move the ball.
You got a chance.
You don't.
You got a chance, that's for sure. All right, yards per attempt plus percentage, completion percentage. Max has 6.1 yards a throw. That's not very good, but he's at 66% completion percentage. They give up 7.1 per throw at 66%. So maybe there's something there. Can we throw the ball a little bit more down the field? Look, dink and dunk all you want, but just take a few shots, and I know you have been, so I'm okay with that. Now, here's the deal. They're at 6.6 yards per attempt. That's collective at 63.2%. No, that's Aiden O'Connell. I'm sorry, that's Aiden O'Connell. We still, Grammage. 7.1 is bad, isn't it, for a defense to give up per pass attempt on average? We give up 8.3. 8.3 at almost 70% completion. Think about that. You can't win. You cannot win with that. It's unbelievable.
Well, what that means more than anything is it means you're giving up plays like the Devontae Adams 71-yard touch. It's those explosive plays that are inflating the number because you're giving them up, and they're killing you. You can't in the NFL. You cannot give those plays up a lot and expect to win games.
And on that play, the safety once again doesn't do his job. He bites on the underneath, and they throw it over the top, and you're supposed to be there helping the mic with that vertical.
Well, but that's so shocking because they're always in such great position normally. Like, dude.
No, I know. It's been all year long. It's just amazing to me. All right, let's go third down. That's always a big one. We're at 35%, 35.2. It's been better the last 2 weeks. Just was terrible pretty much the entire year. They're no better. They're at 33.88, a little bit less than us. We give up 45% on third down, so can't win with that. They give up 41%. That's a tough one. You should be in the 30s at least. They're very good on fourth down on defense, I saw. 7 of 9 they've defeated. So I don't know about fourth down for us. We're 13 of 21 on defense. We're both 13 of 23 on offense. Have both gone for it 23 times on fourth down and converted 13 of those times. Like I said, the sacks, we've given up 27. They've given up 47. I'll tell you, every week it's been like this, it seems like. Our offensive line low on sacks given up. Their offensive line heavy on sacks given up. We're only at 26 sacks a game. Congratulations to Jeremiah Ledbetter for now being tied for third in the sack game with Roy Robertson Harris, who's no longer on the team.
But does the backflip count for half a sack?
Only if he stuck it.
You're right. He didn't stick it.
Still impressive. I can't do that stuff. Still impressive. But if you got to stick it if you're going to do that.
I agree. So he doesn't get the half sack then.
No.
Yeah,
no,
I agree.
That's
fair. That's fair.
Not even a quarter. Let's see. They have 32 sacks on the year. We have 26. Again, our two studs got to pick it up. I want to see you guys finish strong. You both got to get over double digits. Come on. One's at 8.5. Trayvon, Josh is at 7. 3 games left. Let's go. I'm telling you right now, if Josh Allen doesn't make 10 sacks, I'm going to be really disappointed in his year. After getting that big bag, come on, man. Come on. That just ain't it. That just ain't it. You got to show up. You should be at 15. Remember, we were thinking 15 for him. We weren't even asking for 17.5. We're asking for like 14, 15. He's nowhere near it. He's half of that. Got to be better. Got to be better. No question about that. Interceptions, we have 14 total. Mac's thrown 7. They have 15 total. O'Connell's thrown 3. They have 8 picks. We have 5. I already told you they're negative 19 on turnover ratio. We're minus 13. You're going to see some ugly football, I think, Sunday. I'm going to do the pregame show with Hayes from the studios here. I think we start at 11:30, so stay tuned for that on 1010XL.
The Terminix kickoff show.
Terminix kickoff show, baby. No doubt about that. So that'll be fun. And we'll break it down for you, get you ready for kickoff. Hey, it's a festive time of the year. I know we're all out there doing good stuff, fun stuff, parties and whatnot. Please be safe. Please drive safe. Please be cool to one another. Take care of one another. Be on the lookout for one another. Just a lot of craziness in our lives and, around everywhere. So let's just be careful and let's enjoy the time. And we'll see you next week. How about that? I think that's a good way to end it, man. Merry Christmas. Although I'll be on Monday, so I'll say it again. Happy Hanukkah, happy holidays, everything. And we'll see you next time. Be cool, stay safe, and be cool. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace and love, everybody.